Hello and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. In this video, I'm going to keep looking at Shadows over Innistrad. I'm going to move on and look at Angelic Fury, which is a white and red deck. So let's dive in. Let's look at the deck list here. So we've got 19 creatures, 9 instants, 3 sorceries, 3 enchantments, 1 artifact, 25 land, mana curve off to the side there. Let's get on with it. Let's take a look at it. So the foil face rare is Flameblade Angel, 4 and double red for a 4/4 flyer. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you or opponent you control, Flameblade Angel does 1 damage back to that source's controller, which is, it has this kind of like nice retaliation effect, isn't it? Like, makes opponents kind of scared of like chump blocking or even kind of maybe attacking you if they're going to keep taking sort of 1 damage every time from Flameblade. So yeah, I think this is like a pretty solid for your face rare to have. I like it. I actually really like it as well. I'm going to go off a little topic. I try not to talk about lore too much in these videos, but I really liked the story development in Shadows over Innistrad. But if you don't know, basically it's because in Battle for Zendikar block, they fought 2 of the Eldrazi Titans, Kozilek and Ulamog, and they were like, well, where's Emrakul? Emrakul had pissed off to go to Innistrad, basically, and her influence turned the angels mad, so they went on this really, like, puritanical crusade and were, like, punishing humans. So, and most of the angels went mad, so the humans had to like fight back against the angels, and it was like, oh, it was so like grimdark and cool, and I loved it. And yeah, it's just there we go. And then that eventually turns into Eldritch Moon, which is when Emrakul kind of makes her presence known more, and like the creatures and peoples of Innistrad, they start like mutating more as they fall under influence. Oh, it's good. It basically goes from being Gothic horror to being Bloodborne, and it's fantastic. I love it because I love Bloodborne. I love the mix of Gothic horror and cosmic horror. It's just great. Anyway, stop talking about lore. We're talking about cards. But yeah, despite the deck being called Angelic Fury, this is the one angel in the deck. So don't expect it's not like white red angel tribal or anything, which would be cool. It's not. It's just, well, we'll see what it is. So then we've got 2 Ember Eye Wolf, 1 in a red for a 1/2 with haste. You can spend 1 in a red to give it +2/+0 turn 10. It's fine, just perfectly fine. And then 2 Howlpack Wolf, 2 in a red for a 3/3. Can't block unless you control another wolf or werewolf. Ember Eye Wolf is literally the only other wolf in the deck. So, but I don't think you really care about this blocking. It's just, it's a 3/3 for 3. You're just going to be aggressive with it, aren't you? It's essentially white red aggro. You're just going to keep swinging with it. So yeah, don't care about blocking too much. And then 2 Pyre Hounds, 3 in a red for a 2/3 with trample. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Pyre Hound. So this is okay. Let me double check how many instant sorceries we got. We got 12. So like a fair number to make it work, I suppose. It having trample is obviously nice. Yeah, it's okay. It just feels like a bit of a weird inclusion here, maybe, but it's still okay. It's still decent. It's still a decent creature. It's not a creature I'd associate with kind of white red aggro, And then with 2 Inspiring Captains, this is pretty solid. So 3 and a white for 3/3. When it ends the battlefield, all your creatures get +1/+1 till end turn. That's just just a nice board wide buff for like 4 mana, and it's a 3/3 body as well. Yeah, I think that's perfectly solid. 3 Cathar's Companion, 2 and a white for a 3/1. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, gets indestructible 10 to turn, so that's quite nice. I think you've got a few buff spells in here, so it just turning into an indestructible attacker or blocker is pretty nice. So 3 of those. 2 Stern Constables, 1 white mana for a 1/1. Tap and discard a card to tap target creature. So yeah, Master Decoy. This is not. This is the thing that's actually that bothers me about this deck. You've got quite a few effects in here that like rely on discarding cards, but there's no real synergies or payoff for it, which is a shame. Which is something we'll talk about when we get into the what could have been. Like this is okay. Obviously, like tapping down stuff is fine. The fact it doesn't require mana is fine. But it's not a deck that cares about like what's in your graveyard, or like it's not like the one we just looked at, the Vampiric Thirst, where you got like a bunch of cards with madness that like, oh, if you discard it, you can cast it for its madness cost. It's just tap, discard a card, tap target creature. That's what it does. Obviously, so it's just 1/1, I suppose. And if you absolutely need to do it, you can do it. You don't have to spend extra mana to do it, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't sit right to me. Like that's such a minor effect to me for like having to discard a card. I don't know. Yeah, that's just me. If I'm discarding a card, I want it to like almost have like a full card's worth of effect. to represent them not using it. I don't know. That's just how I feel. Unruly Mob, they're back. I love these guys. They get reprinted every time we go to Innistrad, and I think I've said it before, but I really wish they'd been reprinted in March on the Machine, with like the Phyrexian portal like in the sky behind them or something, and like flavor text along the lines of like "here we go again," that kind of thing. Because every time their flavor text changes to be like because in the most recent set, the either Midnight Hunt or Crimson Vow, it's like oh god, we've like fought off killer angels and like cosmic horrors from the moon, like vampires and werewolves are like nothing to us. Like that's Tuesday for us. So I love Unruly Mob. They're fantastic. But yeah, 1 and a white for a 1/1. Whenever another creature you control dies, which they probably will. You've got actually quite a lot of frail creatures in the deck. They get a +1/+1 counter. So yeah, they're great. I like them. And then 3 Devil Thorn Fox, just 1 and white for a 3/1. Yeah, there we go. Just a 3/1 for 2. Yep, that's fine. That's a fine aggressive stat line. And then a single Runaway Carriage, 4 mana for a 5/6 trample, so really big, beefy stats. But whenever it attacks or blocks, it gets sacrificed at end of combat, which is a shame. So you get to use it once. So it's like kind of like a ball lightning-esque creature, but it doesn't have haste, and I feel like it really should have haste. It being a Runaway Carriage, something about that name implies haste and speed. But yeah, I mean you still get to swing with it once, I suppose, or block with it once. But yeah, it's okay. So then non-creature spells. So the other rare of the deck is Devil's Playground. So 4 and double red. You make 4 Devil tokens, and they all have, when they die, they deal 1 damage to a creature or player. So that 1 damage doesn't like seem like a lot, but it can add up, obviously, and it means they can sort of trade up. If they get, I don't know, if they block or get blocked, or blocked like an X2 or something, they can obviously do 1 damage, and then when they die, they do the extra 1 point of damage. They can spread that damage around. So yeah, I think this is okay. It's obviously expensive at 6 mana, but I think the creatures it makes, having that extra like burn damage when they die is fine. And then 2 Dance with Devils, which is just literally a smaller version of Devil's Playground, although it's at instant speed actually, so it has some play differences there. 3 in a red, you just make 2 Devil tokens, and they're exactly the same. When they die, they do 1 damage to a creature or player. The fact it hits creatures or players, I think, is actually really nice. Then we've got 2 Lightning Axes, 1 red mana. As additional cost to cast it, you have to discard a card or pay 5 extra mana. It does 5 damage to target creature. So 1 red mana for 5 damage at instant speed is massive. This is something that's worth like kind of discarding a card to. The thing is, if you're paying the extra 5, like suddenly like 6 mana for 5 damage at instant speed is not as good a feeling, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you've got quite a few, well, I say quite a few, we've seen like a few at the moment, like, but these cards that discard, and like no real payoff for them other than obviously this is just a fantastically cheap effect if you discard a card to it, but yeah, it just feels like it's missing something, I think, in terms of like interactions and stuff. And 2 Inner Struggles, 3 in a red. Instant speed, target creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. Most of the time, this is just, obviously, it kills itself, so it's a very roundabout way of just saying destroy target creature. It's fine. I say most of the times you're going to use this, you're going to use it on a creature that is going to die to it. So yeah, I think it's fine. Weird interaction if the creature has lifelink. Or actually, amazing interaction if the creature has death touch, actually. So there we go. There's a thing there. And then we've got a single Dissension in the ranks, 3 and 2 red. Target blocking creature fights another target blocking creature. This is, I think, a really fun little spell here to make two blocking creatures like potentially kill each other off before you even get to assigning combat damage. I think that's really fun. So yeah, potentially kill off two opponents' creatures there. So I think that's okay. A single Magmatic Chasm, 1 in a red. Creature without flying can't block this turn. This is probably me. I probably really overvalued these abilities, but like for me, like 2 mana to make a bunch of creatures unable to block for a turn seems really strong. This am I wrong there? Am I maybe being too casual and overvaluing this effect? But I think that's really good for like only 2 mana to get all, because you got obviously a bunch of small aggressive creatures. If they can get through unblocked, that's great. Would have liked to have had more than one of these in here. We've got 2 Rush of Adrenaline, 1 red mana to give something +2/+1 and trample 10/10 for 1 red mana. That's pretty solid. I like that. Yeah. And then 2 Nahiri's Machinations, 1 and a white. Yeah, Nahiri, the absolute Karen of the Magic the Gathering universe. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gains indestructible on 10/10. That's really solid. Just giving 1 creature indestructible every combat. You can spend 1 red to make it deal 1 damage to target blocking creature. Yeah, that's again really solid. A lot of like blocking creature hate in this deck, you know. But yeah, this is really good. Nice. There's 2 of these actually as well. Helps out those frail creatures you've got. A single Angelic Purge, 2 and a white. Oh, there we go. There is another Angel card in here. 2 and a white as an additional cost to cast Angelic Purge, sacrifice a permanent, exile an artifact, creature, or enchantment. So it can hit a lot of things. It's fairly cheap. At common this is fine. Like this is an okay thing to sacrifice. You've got like you could sacrifice like a devil token to this, or like I say, just like one of your weak creatures that's not really doing anything. The fact it's exile with like no conditions, I think is pretty good actually. That's fairly solid removal spell. A single Gryff Spoon, 1 white mana for an aura that goes on a creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has flying. And you spend 3 and a white to return Gryff Spoon from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to a creature, but only any time you can do a sorcery. Yeah, so it's an aura that can reuse. The fact it gives evasion and a small power boost, I think it's all right. Obviously, it's fairly cheap to initially cast. Yeah, I think this is okay. Yeah, it's kind of okay. And then a single Murderer's Axe, 4 mana, equipped creature gets +2/+2, equip, discard a card. So yeah, there we go, another kind of discard effect. Just to, the fact that the equip cost is nothing is obviously pretty good. No mana at least, you got to discard a card for it. Yeah, I think it's okay as a piece of equipment, I suppose, it's alright. And then 13 mountains and 12 plains. So yeah, let's talk about what could have been. So this is really standing out because I said there's a few things in there that care about discard. You had the constable, you had some lightning axes, you had the murderer's axe there, and it seems crazy to me because like there was a decent number of these white and red cards in the set that had this delirium ability, and delirium is going to be kind of like the focus of the next deck we look at. But yeah, so you could discard cards, get them in your graveyard, and then they care for Delirium. So Delirium's ability where basically the thing it's on gets a bonus if you have 4 or more different card types amongst cards in your graveyard. Which is, that's not hard to do, like land, creature, instant, sorcery, there you go. So some potentials here: Reaper of Flight, Moonsilver, 3 and double white for a 3/3 flyer. And if it has Delirium, you can sacrifice a creature to give it +2/+1 to end turn. Paranoid Parish Blade is 2 and a white for a 3/2. If you got Delirium, it becomes a 4/2 with first strike, which is obviously that's pretty good. And as an alternate rare, Scourge Wolf, like double red for a 2/2 with first strike. Even that on its own is like I think pretty solid. And if you have Delirium, then it has double strike. So yeah, I don't know. It could have gone that way instead, like made the focus of the deck like this, Delirium, I suppose. But I don't know. That treads on the toes of the next deck we're looking at. So I mean, like in summary, there was okay. So back in original Innistrad block, we had I think it was Dark Ascension. I think it was the second set. There was a red white deck there, which was called Swift Justice. Fiery Dawn was the one in Avacyn Restored, and that was Human Tribal, and that one was pretty good. No, this was the one in Dark Ascension, and it was called Swift Justice, and it was very evident in that deck that like red white had like nothing really going on in common in the set, because the red white deck there was like just like it kind of felt like a pile of cards, and like that's the feeling I get of this one there, because there's no like in Shadows over Innistrad. So you've got like so you got vampires, you got spirits, you got zombies. Green white is sort of humans-ish, I think. And then blue green has got like blue green's got clues, green black has got delirium. Blue red is like spells matter, and what's the other? White black is, I think there's like kind of a sacrifice kind of thing there, but it's sort of there. It's a bit weak, but yeah, white red doesn't really feel like it has anything going on, like because there's not really at this point now with intro packs, we expect every intro pack is like, oh, here's a keyword or a gimmick that the deck kind of focuses on, and there's not really one here. It just feels like a pile of cards that have just been mashed together, and like I feel like we haven't had a deck like that in a while, where it just feels a bit all over the place. Like I'm not really, you know, I'm not really sure what the theme is, and like this is such a weird thing to complain about, but like the deck's called Angelic Fury, and there's one angel in it, and that just feels a bit weird to me. What would I mean? Maybe what would have been cool is, I don't know, I don't know where it could have been. I mean, it's a functional kind of white red aggro deck, but I guess what annoys me, there's no gimmick tying it together. There's not much identity to it. So yeah, it does feel like almost like you've just put it together from like, you know, random boosters you've opened together, I guess. So yeah, I'm not so keen on it. As saying, like I just feel like there's a bit of waste potential there. Like you got a bunch of like kind of discard effects, but like nothing that really goes with it. I say it's nothing like the Madness deck we looked at, where that was like laser focused on like you're going to discard stuff and you're going to get a benefit for discarding them. So yeah, don't like this one. I think this one's pretty weak. Out of all the Shadows over Innistrad decks, this one definitely sticks out as being the weakest to me in terms of like how it feels. I mean, it probably plays absolutely fine. Like if you had this deck and it played okay, like stick a comment below. But yeah, I'd like to hear what people's opinions on this one are. So even if you didn't play this deck, like stick a comment below, say what you think about the deck or any of the cards in it. But I'll be back next time, going to look at the last Shadows over Innistrad intro pack. But until then, thanks for watching, listening, and have a great day.